What did you make of that range defined for growth in 2019 between 6.5%? Are you more focused on 6.5% or on 6%?
Well, it's probably more likely 6%, but most investors don't look at the GDP numbers quite so carefully as the Chinese government would like them to look at. I think the bigger point here is that they're trying to essentially avoid crashing the economy with excess debt while avoiding a very severe downturn in economic activity. I find it quite interesting that they're talking about keeping the fiscal deficit under 3%. While that's not including the local government deficit. In fact, local governments are 75% of expenditure. And if you're selling more bonds, you're essentially increasing the deficit. But they're not counting that because they like to talk about the central government deficit. So there's a lot of games being played with the numbers. I don't begrudge them that. I think they're doing a pretty good job of handling a difficult situation. But I wish them the best of luck in trying to achieve all those aims that they talked about in that speech.
Sorry, Andrew, I just want to go back and pick up on that point, and it's something that I did raise earlier with one of the guests, in the sense that the market has been focusing on that central government deficit moving up to 2.8%. But to your point, obviously a lot of the financing is going on via local governments. That's not included on the central budget deficit per se, but more in the augmented deficit, which is probably closer to around 10%. Is that a problem? And should investors be worried about that? Or should we just focus on the fact that they're doing their best to manage the deleveraging at the same time as avoid a hard landing?
Well, of course, people should be concerned, particularly those investors who are purchasing onshore or offshore bonds by property developers who are heavily indebted, or the local government financing vehicles whose bonds are still being sold, and a lot of investors are buying them. I'm very concerned about the local aspect. The problem is you can't press a Bloomberg a key on a terminal and get that information. In fact, I asked a PBOC official 2 weeks ago, can you get me information on LGFV, local government financing vehicle debt? And he said, yeah, I can look into it. He came back and says, we really don't know. So a lot of this stuff on the local side is really where the problem's going to be. But what they've been very smart about doing is they've basically picked winners and losers in the economy. They've allocated credit according to whichever province is generating the most growth, and other provinces are seeing very flat growth in overall lending. So they're letting the politics of economics in China dictate their policy, even though they're trying to pretend that they're in charge.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.